I'm delighted to welcome Dr. Miriam Albers to our meeting. Um, Miriam is acting head of the library at ZBMed Information Centre for Life Sciences in Cologne in Germany. This is Germany's National Infrastructure and Research Centre for Life Sciences Data and Information. Miriam trained in psychology and library and information science and holds a PhD on journal management in academic libraries and the implications of the open access movement. Something very interesting and pertinent. She teaches strategic and people management at TH Cologne, and her work centres on strategic library management, change and organisational development, and evidence-based metrics-driven library services. As well as all of that, she's one of the project leads of the OLSPub project, which, if you hadn't heard of it, is an initiative to build a European complementary infrastructure to PubMed. And that is the focus of today's talk, which, as you can see on the slide, is called The End of Taking PubMed for Granted, OLSPub and the Case for a European Biomedical Literature Infrastructure. As I said earlier, there will be time after Miriam's presentation for questions, and you can either add your questions to the chat as we go, or you can put your hand up at the end, and I'll do my best to facilitate all of that. So, Dr. Albers, the floor is yours. I will stop sharing.
So thank you very much. I'm very delighted to be here and really happy to be able to present you our initiative. It's not a project yet, but we hope it to be a project soon. So I'm gonna show you my screen. And yeah, you probably all know PubMed, I think. So, but let me just tell you some numbers to tell you why PubMed is so important. It is one of the biggest and for sure the heavily used database in life science. So you have there more than 38 million publications, and you have around 2 or 3 million users per day. So this is the central infrastructure for the life science and of course for evidence-based medicine, and it is for free. And it was for free for years, and it was always there, kind of. And so there's no real alternative. So probably Embase and all the database that are out there, but they all have some deficits. For example, Embase, is not for free, and Embase don't develop the mesh. So there are all kind of alternatives, but no real alternatives. One of the biases is that PubMed have since its beginning it is mainly in English because it is US funded, and this is something we took for granted. The US funded it, and we are using it for free, and that's really nice and not much for us to do. But let's just imagine that would be Russian funded. Don't know if he would act the same, but it is US funded, and so everybody was like, yeah, that's fine. So but in the beginning of the year, probably you all noticed this short words above PubMed, and it was during the shutdown. And in this time, the publication came less fast in PubMed. And this was really, really a big difference. So in case you did the research in January or February this year, they are wrong, or they are missing actual publications that were actual at this time. So you needed to do them again, but you didn't notice at this time because there are 38 million publications and you not see what you're missing. So, and why are there things missing? And now I'm gonna do a big part telling you what's going on in the US. Maybe you know, maybe you don't know. I don't know. But it is important to understand the whole concept which is at the moment at the US science. And because, you know, everybody can do a mistake, every system can have a problem, but that's not about that. It's not about human mistakes. There is a system behind, and I like to show you. And I'm not the one just telling it. There are a lot of researchers in the US who went out of the country and telling that there is a fundamental destruction, and I'm going to show you. So the last point was that the kind of finance office of the US just put a new regulation. It is not decided yet, but they want to do it. And this is that they are allowed to cut off grants at any time of any study without telling any reason. So they can just say, oh, it's too much about women, it's too much about that, I don't know why. They don't have to tell. And that peer reviews are just a suggestion. So when the science said, okay, we really need this project, but the politicians can say, no, we just don't want it. And it's not allowed to spend money for publications. So what's going to happen then? So when there is a study, how this going to be? I don't know. I really don't know. I don't know if it will be free. I don't know if you will heard of it. I don't know what's going to happen when this here becomes real, because then there is just political goodwill for every grant, and the science that is not published is invisible. So it's like the, you know, we have in Germany, I don't know if you also say it, we say it like, it's like the falling rice in China, you know, you don't see it. So what also interesting is that there were a lot of committees cancelled, scientific committees, and you just see it. It's really a lot. So a lot of agencies, a lot of restrictions, a lot of regularities, a lot of control is not there anymore. What else happens? It is the case that if you are a US researcher and you do a publication with someone from abroad, your funding will be cut immediately. And, you know, just to show you the surrounding here, I have a statement from the health minister, and he is telling that the health standard in the US is the most worse since 60 years, and that they now need to do everything to get a good health. That's the story they are telling, but the story is completely wrong. You know, there are more chronic illnesses because the people are getting older in the US, not because they are more sick. But what they are doing now is cutting the fundings for chronic illnesses. So there is, you know, there's one Tory stelling, but they are doing something completely different. And also to tell you what was really shocking me, maybe you too, is this is the official document, is a screenshot from the official document for the planning for the money spent in 2027. And just to show you how they want to save money is by reducing or eliminating woke, weaponized, and wasteful programs. So this is an official document, and they say They want to save money by eliminating woke programs. And just to remember you, woke is about seeing differences, seeing to allow diversity, you know. And this is official. This is just to show you this is the surrounding the US database PubMed is in. But let's go on. Just have to show where they save money in these woke programs. You know, it's minority health, minorities like women also, you know. Nursing, yeah. Nursing is completely woke, I would say. Mental health, of course, you know, we are all health. Or the Library of Medicine, you know. This is what they are planning to do. This is what they are calling woke, for example. And let's see what this have to do concrete with you. I always, you know, I do a lot presentations and I'm always looking for the cuttings in this specific area, and I always find something. And I also find something that's maybe interesting for you. So the agency which are doing the systematic reviews has no grants. No, zero. The task force, so the committee, which is also acting in this area, is not working at the moment. The trials from the National Institute of Health are disrupted. And so there will be less and more less studies in the next time. And just to tell you that I have a lot of sources on my last slide. Just to tell you, I sometimes feel like crazy when I'm telling you all of that, because sometimes it seems so unbelievable, but it's all true. And I have serious sources for everything, because, you know, they're not hiding it. You know, it's in their papers. So let's talk about PubMed in concrete. They also, the committee, which is responsible for the decisions which journals are to include in PubMed or in Medline, it's not there anymore. It's completely unclear how they are making decisions now and which journal to index. And you know that Mr. Kennedy has his own ideas what are good science and what is bad science. So, and the budget was a lot time really unclear, which is of course always bad for projects and for the NLM. And it is planned to merge the NLM, which are producing PubMed and Medline, together with another institute. And if you ever have experienced such integrations, you know that there are things going to be lost. And we don't know what will happen. So we just don't know. And third of all, there is a censorship in the US, and all this is documented. There are lists of terms which are not allowed anymore. And these are terms like woman, fetus, COVID, whatever. And, you know, they try already to change their wording in their grants. And this is also for you, you know, when you know looking for something, you maybe will not find the normal terms, because the researchers, of course, try to put a, you know, to put a gift packet on it about it, just not to see what's real in it. So it's going to be also hard to find the science when they're allowed to do it in any way. So what we want to do, how to solve it. We cannot rescue the whole US science, but what we are trying to do, and I really try to do this for 1.5 years now, we try to build up an alternative to PubMed. We don't want to be PubMed. We don't say PubMed is bad. PubMed is real good and is really important. But because it is so important, it is also so important to have a backup, to have a secure system. We always have this in medicine. You always have a secure system. Why we don't have a secure system for PubMed? It's just stupid. Let's say it like this. So we want to have OLSPub, and we want to have it as an open source infrastructure, because we think, it shouldn't be a German project. It shouldn't even be a European project. It should be something really open worldwide. And it should be, a project by the life science community and for the life science community. And what we have tried to make this come true. So at first we thought, okay, we are just a small institute in Germany, there should be some bigger institutes or politicians which were going to take responsibility for this. And we asked them, and everybody said, no, there is no problem. No, there will be no problem. No, we're going to wait. I don't know. No. So I said, okay, so let's do something. And we trying to ask other institutes and country, what do you think? And we find a lot of supporters and a lot of press. And, it was like, okay, everybody was like, yes, please do something, do something, do something. And so we talked to our national funding agency, the DFG, and they said, yes, do something, do something. And so we did something, and we did a DFG proposal. And we did it quite fast. And everything was committed with the community and with the DFG. And then it was rejected because they say, okay, what's going to be there in long term? But we didn't look at the long term. We said we are setting up an open source infrastructure. And as part of this, we had a project part that just deals with how to do it long term. It was part of the project plan, but yeah. And they say, okay, you have no collaboration with the US. You have to know, I told you, they are not allowed to collaborate. And or the UK, you probably know European C. We talk to them a lot, but they don't want to do something. So what can we do? So, okay, we talked to the DFG again, and we tried, and we cut the proposal and said, okay, just let's do the base, just the base, that we just have the data, and then let's see what's going to be there later. And it's again rejected. Now they're saying, okay, it's really a problem that you're not working together with the NLM. And, for scientific reasons, this is completely correct. When you want to build up a duplication, you should work together with the institute which have the original database, of course, but it is not possible. And sometimes I'm wondering if they would ask this, if this would be a Russian institute or a Russian institute in Rwanda or anything else. But yeah. So we are here now trying to find another way. And just to show you that we don't sit here and doing nothing. What we have, what you maybe know, maybe not, is what we call PubServatory. And there we are monitoring what happens in PubMed, that we can see what's going on. And I have a meeting this afternoon. This is just according to the mesh headings. We are also looking now to find something to do it by author, because we mentioned that there are some authors deleted, but we cannot prove it right at the moment. So we are trying to do this, and this is open for everybody to just have a look what comes in and what comes out. So let's go to the sources. Or to find sources of funding. And so we have 3 different parts which we are trying. So first thing is we just do fundraising. And we have a donation form, and we have like the University of Oxford or some people who spend money. But to be true, to tell the truth, it's not enough. So we are talking about the pharma industry, or with the pharma industry, because for them it is also really, really important, because I don't know if you know it, but they are thinking a lot in the pharma industry how they now can be excellent, because they know that US is in front, and they think now is the moment for the EU to become the new pharma excellence again. And they say in their reports, okay, the EU is scientific excellent. And I tell you what indicators they have to tell that, It's a lot of, I just click it through, a lot of really well-chosen indicators. But one indicator is missing, the information infrastructure. They don't look at the base, but they need to do it because in the US, they need to monitor Medline or PubMed at least once a week to see if there are any articles about their medications or the or whatever, or what the illnesses or whatever. And so they need it, they really need it to work excellent or to according to the law, but they're not doing it. So I'm trying to talk to the pharma industry and tell, look, you really need an alternative. It's a real big risk for you. And they always say, yes, you're right, but we think someone else should do it. And that's what I met all the time. Everybody say, oh yeah, it's really important, but we will not help you. So, but I don't want to complain. I want to show you what we did. Also, we submitted just on Tuesday a EU project with a lot of international or EU partners. And this is not really OLSPub or OLSPub, but it is something linked to it. And because we have splitted OLSPub in 3 parts. It's like the base, the data, then doing the mesh, and then just the front end. And this is about the mesh. What we also will do there is to get an to link scientific literature with clinical trials. But it's also about the mesh. And let's see, we don't know if we're going to get the money. When we get the money, that's fine. Then we still need the base, but we have a solution for the mesh at least. Yeah, then we are trying to get a lot of awareness for OLSPub, not just to getting money, also that the people are aware of the problem. And we have a lot of articles about us just to show you in all languages, in all countries. And yeah, so the people are hopefully aware of it. And my goal is also that the people are informed, that nobody can tell, okay, I used a database, which is probably not secure, but I didn't know. At least you should know. And we also get political awareness. Germany, we had the Green Party, which they asked the government if there's a problem with PubMed, and the answer of the government was no, there is no, we don't know anything. Yeah, okay. We talked also to the politician, and we explained that there is a problem, and she said, oh yeah, but what can I do now? And I said, okay, at least you should put away this fake information which is in the document of the government, but also didn't happen anything. So what could you do? You could inform users or colleagues what are the risks in the US and the risk related to PubMed. You could talk to your science policy makers. You could talk to your politicians. You could just raise awareness for the problem. You could do statements, open statements from your positions from your as EAHIL, as your institutions, whatever, to say, okay, yes, this is important, that need to be done. And if you know someone, I don't know if you know a real rich pharma industry owner or whatever, or wherever, I go wherever you want to, I do a talk, I gonna inform the people and hope that at least the people see the problems that could come. So, but I'm gonna take over for the last words. I give to Sylvia. Sylvia is a really impressive woman. She's really experienced cancer researcher, and I had the honor to talk to her in person. And when I sound a little bit frustrated, maybe also in this talk, but I never lose my motivation to push on because, I saw Sylvia just crying because, she's so desperate because she's so afraid what's going to happen to their patients, to the science, and to everything. And she was so thankful that people are trying to do something to build up alternative infrastructure. So if there is some bad days, I just think of my talk with Sylvia, and I'm gonna give you her statement too. That it's not, it's about information, of course, but it's more of that. It's about medical information, and then it's about the health of people. And that's the moment where I think where we as information scientists or librarians really also have the responsibility to do something. And so I hope maybe you can help in any way to do something. So thank you really much, very much for your attention, and I'm happy to hear your questions.
Thank you very much, Miriam. That was a really thought-provoking presentation and call to arms. Yeah, I thank you very much. The floor is now open for questions, as Miriam has said. So if you're happy to unmute yourself, you can put your hand up, your virtual hand up, or you can put questions in the chat and I will read them out. While people are getting their thoughts together, maybe I can kick off with a question to chairperson's privilege. I'm just wondering, with all of your struggles with getting funding, everybody seems to agree that this is required, but not enough to actually put their hand in their pocket and give money. Do you have any feeling about why? Why is there that disconnect?
I think there are a few reasons for that. One thing is, it's not visible. Sometimes I'm say we are missing the cool. When COVID starts, we have these impressive pictures from New York. Where they didn't know where to put the dead people. And this was like really visible. And I'm sure that are people dying because of everything in the US is going on, but they are not visible. So it's just, and this is like normal for humans, when you cannot see it, it's not there, kind of, it's really hard to spend money of something when you say, okay, but it seems to be okay. It's like eating healthy or not drinking the next glass of wine, you know what will come, but in you will do it in any case. So I think in kind of it's really like human behavior. The other thing is that I think it's the I will not say that the US are the bad guys. That's not true, but the US was always on the good side. And it's really hard to think that kind of your good brother now has bad habits. I also have the impression that politicians don't want to accept that. They want it, they want the world to stay as it was. And it's really hard to accept.
Yeah, agreed. Thank you. Carol Lefebvre's put a comment in the chat saying, excellent presentation, Miriam, thank you. As you know, both Cochrane Centrally and the Cochrane Information Retrieval Methods Group have written to you in support. And then she's asking if you can make the slides available. So yeah, we can definitely do that. So yeah, just send them to me after
Mm-hmm.
the meeting, and we can publish them with the recording. Kritzia is asking, are there specific reasons that a collaboration with Europe PubMed Central is not possible?
I don't know if this can answer. I don't really know it. Probably you need to ask them. But what we hear from them is that they're working really close with the PubMed, and they are also kind of afraid to come in a strange situation to have standing between two sides. And there are also a lot of changes in the institute. Unfortunately, the director died, and as you know, some other things that make it really difficult for them to make some serious decision as this would be. And they also, they have US funded database, and they have US funded infrastructure, and so they have some more serious problems than that. But this is just, I can assume from the outside, we have a really friendly chat and everything's fine, but at least they need to explain. But I think this could be some reasons which I can see from the outside.
Yeah, that makes complete sense. As you say, it's difficult to disentangle things when certainly in Europe, we've been so used to working in collaboration with colleagues in the USA, and it can be difficult to, as you say, first of all, believe that there is an issue when there's not been one before, and then to try and disentangle that collaboration is complicated. Jacqueline in the chat says, to see the facts written down really feels like a joke and it's absolutely scary. Do you have some fact sheets or summary about what's happening in the US with references that we could share when sharing news about the situation?
Yeah, I also have sources on the end of my slide. They are not complete, but yeah, also think of something like this, maybe doing some fact sheet just to put it on and always have directly underneath, when I put on the sources directly on the slides, then you cannot read the slide probably anymore. That's kind of the problem. But I think it's a good idea to do something like this. But you need to see, you could you can find something nearly every day. It's old in the moment you are doing it. And of course, I cannot find everything. Sometimes I just find at the moment I'm try to look, I'm preparate myself for the next presentation, and then I have a look and I think, no, oh my God, because now I know where I have to look, and then I find the documents, and yeah, and sometimes I need to stop myself because you can go deeper and deeper, and what you find is even more scary. And I have a German science journalist. I told him the story, and he's doing a really good article about it. I don't know when it's published. It's in German, but could be translated, which is also good. And really, he also, I gave him the reference to the people I talked to in the US, and he talked to them. And of course, he's a journalist, you know, also ask other questions. So this is also really interesting, and I could forward it to you when it's published. But I think there must be more awareness. So if you know scientific journalists, you know, always tell them this topic, that it's better known, you know, and you know, was really clever from Trump to do the Iran war, because now they're talking about that. And when you now see that the agreement he's now made is exact the same that was there before the war. So the war was just to cover something, and this is, I think, one thing they covered, you know.
Thank you.
But I don't want to sound, I know I sound like someone, I don't know if you, we in Germany, we say some people who have alu heads, so you know, like heads because they're afraid of anything, you know. I feel like something like that, but it's, you know, it's, I'm also a scientific person, so I know it. But I also can show you, I didn't show you, there was a scientist, a really great scientist for diabetes, and he wanted to spread a paper where he told about all the cuts and what is happening in the US science. And then the police came and he was forced to get out of the conference. And they said when he would come in, he could go to prison. You know, that's really, you know, it's on video, you can see it. It's documented. I also talked to people who were on the conference. It's all true, you know, not some person, the police. The police came in this country where they say, oh, the freedom of speech is so important. And he was not allowed to spread the paper. The paper is also published open available. And it's well documented with sources and everything, you know, and it's not like everything's bad. They say, okay, this is bad, this is good, you know. It's a really proper scientific paper about the situation. And it's really unbelievable, you know, that this happened, and it's happened openly, and but nobody cares.
Yeah, it's quite scary.
Yeah, there's a question about OpenAlex. Yes, so yeah, of course, OpenAlex, they're using PubMed too. They're all using PubMed. It's all based on PubMed. So of course, when we would get the money to do the base, the data, of course, OpenAlex should use it, and everybody should use it. You know, it should be open, of course, you know. So, but I don't know. As we also talked to OpenAlex, I talked to a lot of persons, but really came in to come to do something seems to be a real problem.
Yes, it's quite, when you sit and think about everything that depends on PubMed, it shows you just how reliant we now are on that one source, and how much, as you say, we take it for granted that it is there and is a reliable source of information. I was particularly concerned about it when I heard that the committee who makes the decisions about which sources to add to PubMed has been disbanded, because again, that was one of the big things propping up PubMed, was that it was independent and it only allowed reliable quality sources. And now, you know, the information is still going in there, but we have no idea about the quality control that goes
Yes.
under that. And given the people who are running the health department in the USA, you know, I don't think it's a big stretch of imagination to think that there are going to be some journals that we would say are not of high scientific quality that are going to be added to PubMed and therefore be given extra credibility, which they shouldn't have.
And I really don't want to sound strange, but you also can think of, we thought first they're gonna make PubMed cost something, that's not for free anymore. And so we're wondering why they're not doing it. And one reason for this could be that with PubMed, they can see what you are all researching. It's like a big monitoring system for the research in Europe or worldwide. Maybe that's worth more than the money for the US. But I don't know. I really don't know. I just could guess. But we are talking about not using Google and not using whatever because it's US, but PubMed, hey, okay, no problem. So, yeah, maybe should be also worth to think about if this is really the good thing. And, also without the politician, the polit, I'm sorry, without that politic
Politicians.
around it. It's also, it's just, PubMed is so important that there need to be a safety net in any case. Even if Barack Obama comes back and everything, I don't know what we could imagine, But even then, it's a critical infrastructure and we should take care of it.
Agreed. Well, it looks like we have run out of questions. So, oh no, we've got one just in time from Maria. Um, the OLSPub EU proposal you submitted looks promising regarding the collaboration issue. And when do you expect to get a response? If the EU could take responsibility, that would be a step forward.
Yes, I don't know how long they take. It's in the normal Horizon Europe program, and I think we hope to get an answer this year. But, yeah, to maybe start in winter. Yes. And I still try to get pharma money, but it's complicated.
Yeah. One final question that I've just thought of around funding. You mentioned that you've had support from around the world and you've tried various European funding. I'm wondering if you've explored looking at collaborating with institutions or individuals from other regions of the world where there might be funding available.
Yeah, we tried. But it's really time consuming, so we tried to do it, but it's we're feeling like we're running out of time. So, and it's we don't have much personal resources. That's also the problem, kind of. So if you have an idea, or if someone comes to say, okay, I have an idea, of course, and that's why I go everywhere. And when you have an idea and say, yeah, I have a good connection to our funding agency and I could take this, we don't have to be in lead. We don't have to do, we just want the problem to be solved, and what our role is in there, we are fine.
Yeah.
Now, at the moment, it's just us, but we are just talking about starting. We are starting, and the first step, the first work packages, our first proposal is also open to read. You can read it there, is to build up a community. We don't want to be in the lead forever. We just want to give a kick off, a start, and then find the correct organizations and people to lead that, because it's, of course, we are not in charge to do this on the long term. But we try to find the people doing it in the long term, and they're not doing it. So that's why.
Yeah.
So we are doing the start, and then we are really happy to take over, to hand over, I'm sorry.
Okay. Well, I want to say a big thank you to Miriam for coming and talking with us today. It's been, I was going to say it's been a pleasure, but I'm not sure if it has because it's been scary and thought-provoking. And I really wish the project well because I think everybody fully gets where you're coming from and the reason behind you trying to get this off the ground. So yes, as Miriam said, if any of you know anybody with lots of disposable income or with lots of political influence, then yeah, please get in touch with Miriam. In the meantime, although it's not worth money or political influence, please know that we're all behind you and wishing the project well, and we'll be following closely the developments. So thank you very much again for coming and talking with us. And thank you everybody for joining us today at the meeting. It's been great to have you all here. And we'll hopefully see some of you at the next Journal Club. And we will be in touch about the next webinar that we're going to put on, which we haven't decided yet what that's going to be. So watch this space for that. But for now, thank you, everybody, and I'll leave you to the rest of your day.
Thank you.